What if tomorrow you woke up and realized you could never die? Imagine growing older, but never truly aging. Your skin stays smooth, your heart never fails, and every cell in your body refuses to break down. You step in front of danger, a car crash, a terrible fall, and somehow you rise again. The fear of death, the one thing that has shaped human life for thousands of years, simply disappears. At first, it sounds like a miracle, doesn't it? A life with no limits. Endless time to learn, to travel, to love, to build everything you've ever dreamed of. No more goodbyes, no more pain of losing someone forever. But pause for a moment. If life never ends, what would it truly feel like? Would the beauty of living fade when there is no finish line? Would love, ambition, and even happiness lose their meaning? In this journey, we'll explore both sides of immortality, the wonders it could bring, and the hidden dangers that might turn eternal life into an eternal curse. For as long as humans have existed, we have dreamed of living forever. From the legends of the Fountain of Youth to ancient kings searching for magical elixirs, immortality has always been our greatest fantasy. Even today, scientists explore anti-aging technologies, gene editing, and digital consciousness, all chasing the same impossible goal: to escape death. But why do we desire it so much? Because death is the one thing we cannot control. It's the end we all must face, no matter how rich, powerful, or wise we become. Every story, every achievement, and even love itself is shaped by the knowledge that one day, time will run out. Now imagine breaking that rule. Imagine a world where the natural cycle of birth, growth, and death no longer applies. A world where parents and children grow side by side without ever parting. Where hospitals no longer fear losing patients. Where the funeral becomes a forgotten ritual. It feels like paradise at first glance. But life is a delicate balance. And when you remove one of its most fundamental pieces, the whole system begins to shift in ways we might never expect. So let's take a closer look. If humans truly became immortal, what would be the very first changes we would notice? The first days of immortality would feel like stepping into a dream. No more fear of accidents, no more ticking clock reminding you of time slipping away. People would celebrate, families would rejoice, and the world would be filled with a strange sense of relief. The curse of death is gone. But very quickly, the cracks begin to show. On a personal level, the idea of never dying changes how we live every single day. Think about it. If you knew you had endless time, would you still feel urgency to finish school, chase your career, or even fall in love? Deadlines lose their meaning. Motivation fades because you always have tomorrow, and then another tomorrow, and then infinite tomorrows. On a social scale, things get even more complicated. Imagine hospitals that never have to declare a death. Doctors would be hailed as heroes of a new age. Yet, with nobody leaving, populations would skyrocket. Cities already crowded would overflow. Food shortages, housing crises, and environmental stress would explode at unimaginable speeds. And what about families? Parents and children growing side by side, forever. Grandparents who never pass away. Generations piling up endlessly. At first it feels beautiful, never losing loved ones. But slowly, relationships begin to stretch thin. Love that once felt eternal may lose its weight when eternity is the standard. The first consequences of immortality might not be physical pain, but emotional, social, and psychological confusion. Life without death doesn't just give us more time. It changes the meaning of time itself. As immortality stretches from days into decades, humanity would begin to see consequences far beyond personal life. Society itself would start to bend under the weight of forever. Let's start with the economy. In today's world, careers are built on cycles. People retire, new generations step in, and progress moves forward. But if no one ever dies, the old never leave. Imagine a workplace where your boss from 2025 is still in charge in 3025. Jobs freeze, opportunities vanish, and the younger generation finds themselves permanently locked out of leadership. Now, flip the coin. What if geniuses like Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, or Steve Jobs were still alive? Science and technology could leap centuries ahead, powered by minds that never fade. Medicine, space travel, and artificial intelligence might reach levels beyond our imagination. Immortality could be humanity's greatest accelerator. But power is a dangerous thing when it never expires. Leaders who refuse to step down could rule for centuries. Dictators, kings, and corrupt officials might grip nations with iron fists forever. Wars would not end with the death of generals. They would stretch endlessly, fueled by leaders who simply cannot die. And then comes the psychological toll. Life has meaning because it's fragile. Birthdays, weddings, even small moments feel special because they pass. If every day stretches into infinity, how long before joy fades into boredom? How long before love itself feels replaceable? Immortality isn't just about living forever. It's about carrying the weight of forever. And that weight may crush humanity far more than death ever did. What if eternal life wasn't for everyone? Imagine a world divided into two classes, the immortals and the mortals. If the technology to live forever was expensive, only the rich and powerful could afford it. A billionaire elite, untouched by time, ruling over generations of ordinary people who still live and die. The gap between rich and poor wouldn't just grow, it would become infinite. And what about faith? For thousands of years, religions have promised life after death, a heaven or a rebirth. But if death no longer exists, what happens to those beliefs? Would immortality shatter the foundations of religion? Or inspire new cults that worship eternal humans as gods? Then there's the environment. The Earth already struggles to sustain billions of people. If no one ever dies, our planet could collapse under the weight of endless consumption. Forests gone, oceans drained, skies choked with pollution. Immortality might not feel like a gift when the very world keeping us alive starts to die. The twist is simple. Eternal life might not destroy you, but it could destroy everything around you. At first, immortality feels like the ultimate dream. No more fear, no more loss, endless time to explore every corner of life. But as we've seen, eternity comes with a cost. Overcrowded cities, fading motivation, never-ending wars, and even the collapse of our planet itself. Maybe the truth is this: life is beautiful not because it lasts forever, but because it doesn't. The ticking clock makes every laugh, every hug, and every memory priceless. Death gives life its meaning, and without it, we may lose the very essence of what makes us human. Immortality might look like a gift, but it could also be humanity's greatest curse. So here's the question I'll leave you with. If you had the choice to live forever, would you take it? And if you enjoyed exploring this thought experiment, make sure to subscribe to If World TM, the place where impossible questions come to life. Because sometimes the best way to understand our world is to imagine a world that never was.